here's part of our show where we take questions. This is called, as I stated, here's the deal. Alright, so here's the deal. First question is from Maurice. Hope I don't pronounce your last name or first name wrong. Maurice Person. He says, that damn lightsaber. For those of you who don't know, I'm assuming the only lightsaber he could be talking about is from Star Wars Episode 7, where basically the lightsaber is no longer just, it's not, a staff saber, or it's just, like a broad saber. It's a, kind of like a broadsword, and broadswords are basically have the two stilts on the side, and then the blade protruding up the top. And basically the two sides are basically to stop, back in English time, stop when you clash swords, so you can take that tilt and then cut your enemy's hand off or whatever. And a lot of Star Wars diehard fans are complaining that the tubes, what's the use of having the two extra little sabers on the side if the tubes are can be cut off, and then boom, that's it. The sabers doesn't really, I'm gonna be honest with you, the saber doesn't really bother me. I get why they have it there, just to add a little spice to it, but as a fellow Star Wars fan, trust me, the saber is the least of our worries, my friend. I'm more worried about the storyline, the plot, the characters, the actors, and the screen time for the right characters. That's what I'm worried about. And I'm not really all that picky. A lot of people are super picky about movies these days. A character even thinks the wrong way and everyone is pissed. At the end of the day, the way I feel about it is I just want to see my science fiction adventure action movie. It doesn't need to be some crazy Academy Award winning gaspy Titanic film, which everybody wants that kind of performance in something in things they're not supposed to be in. Like people were upset about Transformers because it wasn't, you couldn't connect with the characters and all this other complicated bullcrap. I'm less worried about that saber. I'm more worried about the film itself. I wanted to do well because I like Star Wars. I didn't have a problem with the last, films, which was, wasn't really a fan of the first movie, which is The Phantom Menace. The second movie was okay, The Attack of the Clones, but I loved the last movie, Revenge of the Sith. And a lot of people were like, it wasn't all that great. I think it was nice. But to answer your question, I think they just put that saber out there because, it's a new chapter in the franchise, and they need to, make things a little, spice it up a little bit, take it up a notch. I don't really have an issue with the saber. I think it's okay. It has its defaults, kind of like, the staff saber. The staff saber can be cut in half. No saber is perfect. Sabers can be dismantled. It's a weakness and it's a strength. But that's to answer your question. Next question comes from my friend Andre. He says, Andrew Lowe, what is your favorite comic book arc? For those of you who don't understand that last word, arc is basically something that continues or whatever. My favorite comic book arc is this right here, Avengers. The reason why it's my favorite comic book arc is because I love Avengers, not because it's one of the top titles, and it's not because of the movie. I was collecting Avengers before the movie came out. I like Avengers because it's a group of people from different walks of life that have nothing in common whatsoever, and they somehow manage to make it work. And I believe that's real life. That's like your friends. Your friend, unlike the X-Men, which they're all mutants, they all have a common goal. They all come from the same struggle. The Avengers, it's mutants, aliens, humans, people with no powers, people with powers. Super smart, super intelligent, not so smart. Military, cops, civilians. It's this mesh pot of people that are trying to just make things work and are trying to save the world. And I feel, in my personal life, I have all these friends from different places where we're not, there's nothing similar about us. We're all very, very different. all have very different taste in women, different taste in people, different, we have different backgrounds, different nationalities, and that's why Avengers is my favorite continuing, ongoing comic book series. Outside of my personal preferences, which is, Iron Man and Flash. But in terms of continuing, that's my favorite. My next question comes from my friend Sylvia Lopez. Sylvia says, is it worth reading Justice League Forever Evil and Justice League Dark? LOL, only because I may buy the trade paperbacks. Well, Sylvia, to answer your question, is it worth it to read Justice League Dark or Forever Evil? Forever Evil, yes. This book did not make me want to fall asleep, because I know everyone has been through this, and keep it 100, don't lie. You were reading a book, and you fell asleep. Sometimes it happens. It's not that it's a bad book, but sometimes it gets to the point where it's a little like, the dialogue isn't grabbing your attention. Not once in reading Forever Evil did I fall asleep. Not at all. Not once. Its dialogue's that crazy. And it leaves you at a point where, damn, I gotta keep reading this. You might be pissed off with Forever Evil because it doesn't continue. It stops at like 6, I think it stops at like 7 parts or 8 parts, something around there like that. You're gonna want more. Justice League is short and sweet. As far as Justice League Dark, knowing your taste, I know you would like that, because it's a mesh pot of different characters that have different abilities that deal in the supernatural. Justice League Dark, I believe, is drawn by David Finch, and David Finch art it's beautiful, it's amazing. It's up to date, but it keeps that old school comic book look because of his technique with cross-hatching. For those who don't draw, I draw. Cross-hatching is a technique we use to give definition to a character's body in shadowing. And it's a very popular, very well-known comic book illustrator technique. So yes, Justice League Dark, definitely worth reading. Justice League, however, I've looked at it, and every time I looked at it, it's like, just give me my honest opinion. Justice League never really did anything for me. It's just, Superman, Wonder Woman. I'm gonna buy it. I'm just gonna buy the paperback just to, have it and look at it. But in terms, if it popped, it doesn't gravitate towards me. If it popped up, I wouldn't be like, oh my goodness. Now, if Forever Evil popped up, I would definitely read it. Now, even though I don't collect Justice League Dark, doesn't mean I don't want to. It's just that I collect so many titles, I just can't fit it into my schedule of reading. But it's definitely a good book, and I definitely, it's not a waste of money. So go ahead and pick that up, Sylvia. My next question comes from Jasmine. She says, maybe something really bored, like how the Hulk incarnates were created. Like She-Hulk, Red Hulk, etc. It's an interesting question to answer. Well, what basically, for you who don't know what she's talking about, there's a lot of incarnations of the Hulk that came out and how they created. Okay, if you don't know where the She-Hulk, or at least Red She-Hulk, came about. She-Hulk is Bruce Banner's ex-wife, Betty Ross. So, I'm sorry, spoiler, I was supposed to say something about that. Anyways, whatever, it's a book. It's kind of hard to spoil the book. Well, anyways, for those who don't, if you don't want to continue listening to this and you're reading She-Hulk, whatever. Anyways, She-Hulk, the Red She-Hulk, is Betty Ross. She was exposed to gamma radiation, I believe, in attempts to save Bruce Banner. She-Hulk, the original She-Hulk, was created because she got cancer, or actually she was dying from something, and Bruce gave her his blood to save her life. Then there's Scar, which is Hulk's son, from the queen of the planet Scar. She had the ability to manipulate a planet's magnetic poles. She could create earthquakes, and she could create, volcanic eruptions, tidal waves. She's super broken. She had super strength, and she had super agility. She was like an expert fighter and assassin. She was a badass. Now, if you want to look, Jasmine, if you want to look into that, you could. I'm not sure if it's your thing. If you want to continue reading those. The problem with those, they don't really have the Hulk's only the Hulk really has his main title with his origin story. Red She-Hulk. Red Hulk. Oh, by the way, Red Hulk, which is Lieutenant Ross, which is Betty Ross's father. Red Hulk. All the other Hulk adaptations or incarnations popped up through the Hulk series itself, because they're not like superheroes like that. They're people with abilities and super strengths, similar to the Hulk, but they're not superheroes like the Hulk. So they don't really have their main book. They have titles now, but they don't have origin stories like the Hulk. So if you want to find where the origin stories come from and how they unveil and how this character comes about, I will. If you comment below, I can look for the books. I know what the books are, and you can find those origin stories which come from other titles themselves. So that's it for the show. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe, please like, please share to get this show up, because in the future I would love to actually for you guys to get special prizes. Very soon Jupiter Ascending is going to be coming up, and I would love to do a special gift package for 2 people to come watch it with me. Tickets paid for and everything. Next week we're going to be talking about Gundam, and we're going to be talking about Agent Carter. I think I'm just kind of threw it in my mouth. So, as always, live long and prosper, and thank you for watching.